back to Black Girl Cinema. I am your resident black girl here, Odie. And in the spirit of Black History Month, I thought that I would count down my 10 favorite biopic movies. I also felt like this would be a great segue into the new film, Race, starring Stephen James, who is going to be portraying Jesse Owens, Olympic gold medalist. Now, before I give you my list, I'm going to give you the films that I want to give an honorable mention to. These are movies that are good biopic films, but they're not necessarily on my top 10 list. Number one is going to be The Temptations. I know what y'all thinking. Wait, don't even go there. I know. Everybody loves this film, but it wasn't that great to me. It's good. It's a good film. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not one of my top ones. But I definitely think it was a good film. Number two, I have the Josephine Baker story. A lot of people don't even know how significant Josephine Baker was to Black history. But I'm so glad that this story that was untold before has actually already been done. I'm sure they're going to revamp it soon because you know how Hollywood goes. But whatever. Lynn Whitfield does a great job in portraying Josephine Baker. If you haven't seen it, definitely look it up. It's really, really good. And number three on my list is going to be introducing Dorothy Dandridge. Now, Halle Berry is who portrays Dorothy Dandridge in this film, and she does an amazing job. Y'all already know Halle Berry is a great actress, but I didn't know anything about Dorothy Dandridge. I didn't even know who she was. I just knew it was a movie that I watched when I was young. And then when I got older, I started to realize how important Dorothy Dandridge is. And so that's why this is number 3 on my honorable mentions list, but it actually would have been number 11 on my list if my list would have been a little bit longer. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10. Why Do Fools Fall in Love is a story about Frankie Lyman and his 3 wives. That's right, 3 wives. But first of all, Lorenz Tate. Yes, 90s Lorenz Tate. He was fine. Yes. But anyway, secondly, we have the great, awesome women who play Frankie Lyman's wives. We have Layla Rashawn, we have Vivica A. Fox, and last but not least, Halle Berry. He had 3 of the most beautiful women to play Frankie Lyman's wives, and I think that was great. This is kind of like a comedy to most people because there's a lot of comedic moments, but honestly, it was really a look into this player's life. Now, my only gripe with this film is that it was more about the wives than it was actually about Frankie Lyman, but don't be confused, it still is a biopic film, and that's why it's number 10 on my list. Number 9. The Jackson 5, The American Dream. Now, this film is long. It's really long. I'm not even joking, like literally when you're getting ready to watch this film, it's going to be long. So make sure you've cleared your schedule for the day. But first of all, we have Angela Bassett. This is not going to be her last time on this list. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Angela Bassett, she does an amazing job as always. Go to bed, Joseph. Go to bed. I love this film. I love that part of the film. I love everything about it. I love the fact that we're talking about all of the Jackson family members, not just Michael. So I really love this film for that. Number 8. Antoine Fisher. A lot of people actually forgot that this is a biopic film. This is about a real man named Antoine Fisher who was in the Navy, who was given up for adoption and all of that. And we have the very fine Derek Luke giving a stellar performance in this film. Not to mention, we also have Denzel Washington, who also will be on this list a little bit later as well, giving a very awesome performance as well. I love both of them. And then to top it off about this film, we have Viola Davis before anybody even knew who she was. If you've seen How to Get Away with Murder, you know how she looks when she takes off her wig and takes off the makeup and she starts looking a little bit rough. Well, that is exactly why people didn't even realize that this was her in this film. But this is an amazing story about how you don't have to be a product of your circumstances. You don't have to be a product of your past. You can always triumph, and I love this film for that. Number 7. Ali. First of all, Will Smith. You know I love me some Will Smith. And then second of all, Jada Pinkett Smith. I always love when husbands and wives play husbands and wives in movies. Husbands and wives in real life play husbands and wives in movies, or children play children of the actual actor, whatever. I love that, and that happens in this movie, although they don't stay married, but whatever. They give an outstanding performance, and what I love so much about this film is that it gives the story of someone who people probably don't know how impactful he was to Black history. Muhammad Ali did so much, not only for the sports world, but for race issues at hand at the time. He's an amazing man, and they picked the right person, because Will Smith honestly made me feel like he was Muhammad Ali. Number 6, Will Smith making a second appearance on this list again. And then we have family members making an appearance on the list again. We have Jaden Smith, who plays the son of Will Smith's character, and of course their chemistry is great because it's real, because they actually are father and son. But this is a great and inspiring story about somebody who got to the lowest of the low, and he was still able to triumph. The things that he went through in this film is things that most people would have given up a long time ago, but he continued to triumph, and it's a true story. Number 5, what's love got to do with it? Everybody knows Tina Turner was the woman back in the day, and here we have Angela Bassett making a second appearance on this list. Second of all, we have Lawrence Fishburne playing the role that made everybody hate him for at least 10 to 15 years. Because I know I held a grudge against Lawrence Fishburne, because I felt like he played Ike Turner a little bit too well. I felt like he was a woman beater. But I've gotten over it now. I forgive you, Lawrence. You're great. Woo. Number 4. Ray. Now, the number one thing I love about this film is Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is an amazing comedian, amazing actor, amazing musician, amazing singer. The fact that he was able to use everything that is his own personality to put inside of this film to embody Ray Charles was amazing. Not only that, he portrayed Ray Charles as if Ray Charles was his dad, and he grew up with him. He went on the road with him. He had his mannerisms down. He had his voice down. He had his walk down. Everything about Jamie Foxx in this movie said Ray Charles, and that was absolutely amazing. The other thing I love so much about this film is the chemistry between Jamie Foxx and Kerry Washington that play husband and wife. And I love so much when two actors have great on-screen chemistry. And they had so much chemistry that I think Quentin Tarantino actually looked at this film and said, hey, I can redo this. And they played husband and wife again in Django Unchained. If you didn't know, now you know. Go out and see both of the films if you haven't. Number 3. Basquiat. Now, this is a film a lot of people don't even know exists. I think I found out about this film maybe 20 years after it came out. Yeah. Nobody really has seen this. Nobody has really watched it. But I have, and I absolutely love it. That's why it's number 3 for me. This is a story of Jean-Michel Basquiat, a wonderful street artist turned millionaire, really, because of his genius. He was such a troubled man, but he had so much genius within him. And unfortunately, we lost him very early on in his life at the age of 27 because of his drug usage. Now, Jeffrey Wright, who plays Jean-Michel, does an amazing job. He plays Jean-Michel as if they grew up together, like they knew each other. Of course they didn't, but he just does such a great job embodying Jean-Michel. I thought it was amazing. And then David Bowie, God rest his soul. It's so sad that we just lost him, but he does an amazing job as Andy Warhol. If anybody has ever seen any interviews with Andy Warhol and seen the way his mannerisms are, David Bowie had them down to a T, as if, like I said, they grew up together, they knew each other. And because of that, I just think that this is one of the greatest biopics that's ever existed. Number 2, Lady Sings the Blues. Now, this is the story of Billie Holiday, and if you know me, Billie Holiday is one of my favorite jazz singers of all time. Nobody can say anything bad enough about her for me to not like her anymore. Diana Ross is who plays Billie Holiday, and she does an amazing job. Diana Ross is a great actress, period, but she just embodies Billie so much, and she tells her story in a great way. And we have the amazing Billy D. Williams, who captured everybody's heart way back in the day, because he's a sexy grandpa in my eyes. But He does an amazing job in this film as well. And if you haven't seen Lady Sings the Blues, please take out 3 hours of your time. It's not that long, but take out 3 hours. Sit down and watch it and learn a little bit about Billie Holiday. You will learn to like her. Number 1! Most of you probably already know what's going to be number 1 on this list, and that is Malcolm X. Now, before we get to this film, let's just keep in mind that Angela Bassett is in this film as well. Angela Bassett is like the quintessential person for biopic movies. She's been in so many biopic movies and she's played such great roles in all of them. It's like you can't have a good biopic without her. She's been Jackson 5 Mama, she's been Coretta Scott King, she's been Tina Turner, she's been Betty Shabazz twice. In 2 different movies she was Betty Shabazz. She's been Rosa Parks, and she was even Biggie's mama in Notorious. She has done such an amazing job in biopic movies, and I just feel like she's like a key part. And she plays Betty Shabazz in Malcolm X. And then second of all, we do have Denzel Washington making another appearance on this list. And I think this is one of Spike Lee's best films of all time. Spike Lee did, this is his prime right here. When he made this film, he was at the top of the top of the top. And this film just is amazing. Malcolm X gives such a great story. And if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? You're losing already. I mean, come on. This is the best biopic of all time. So go watch it now, right now. So that's my list. I would love to know what's on your list. What biopic movies did I miss? I know there are some that may have been an honorable mention here and there, or some things that you feel like, hey, girl, you forgot all about this. I know there's some new ones out. I didn't really include any of those. I just kept it pretty, classic here. So I would love to know what you all think. Love to know what your favorite biopic movies are. Don't forget to put them down in the comment section. I will see you all next time here on Black Girl Cinema. This is your girl Odie, and I'm signing out.